In 1776, an exhausted George Washington wrote to Congress about the poor condition of his men, many of them being so thinly clothed as to be unfit for service. Rags they wore, to battle, to fight for freedom and shake off tyranny. He said in the close of his letter that he was almost led to despair. Do you feel like that about our government today? Are you almost led to despair? In late December 1776, Thomas Paine wrote an article in the Philadelphia Journal entitled The Crisis. Washington's direction was that it be read in the camp to every corporal's guard. Doing that revived his troops. Because Paine wrote, "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from service, but he that stands now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered, yet the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly." Freedom has been handed to us by the generations before us. We find ourselves now in the conflict, in the crisis. Texas is threatened, and while our situation is not so desolate as the condition of Washington's troops, and while our very lives are not in jeopardy as his fighters found themselves deep in the winter of 1776, this is the time to fight and earn our freedom. As Thomas Paine said, "Heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated." Paine considered freedom a gift from God himself. If God himself gave you a gift, how hard would you work to maintain that gift? The founders signed the Declaration of Independence knowing that it would cost them, but they knew that a lack of freedom was far more costly to them and to the generations who would follow. We all know the phrase, "give me liberty" or "give me death," but are we ready to truly say it from the heart, to preserve God's gift to us? Or will we take it for granted and wilt like a sunshine patriot when confronted with adversity from tyrants? Political silence and inaction threatens everything you've built in this life. Silence and inaction only accelerate the handover of your inalienable rights to those you've allowed to be in control. Silence is a cowardice that has no virtue. That cold December, Washington needed new recruits and supplies and told those in local towns that your country is at stake, your wives, your houses, and all that you hold dear. That speech enabled him to recruit 3,300 new men to join and enlist in his army. Over the next few years, Washington and his band of patriots won us our freedom, and the cost was high. They truly meant, "Give me liberty or give me death." If you from the heart can say that phrase, then join us in urging with a relentless insistence that our Texas Republicans do what we have chosen as priorities. Go to grassrootspriorities.com to send your representatives a personalized email urging them to pass our Republican priorities. Failure to pass these priorities is a tyranny that will hurt our freedom, our family, our children, and our way of life. Let's work together to recapture God's gift of freedom to us and accept nothing less from those elected to represent us. Political advertising paid for by Grassroots America, We the People PAC.